Hey, what's going on, guys? Pastor Abe here, and in today's video I'm going to be showing you guys how to create sermon highlight clips for Instagram and Facebook. Let's talk. Right before we get into the video, I just quickly want to apologize for not posting in I think like over a year or something like that. A lot has been going on, a lot has been changing in my life and my ministry. Last time that I posted, I was still a worship pastor at a local church in Sunnyvale, California, but now I'm a lead pastor here at Vine Church in San Jose, California. So all glory to God. He's been taking me from glory to glory, as his word says. And I'm excited for this new season, but I'm still finding, even in this season of being a lead pastor, still finding myself doing a lot of graphics, a lot of videos, and training people how to do it as well now that I'm trying to delegate. So one of the things that we've been doing that was different from my other church is we're doing weekly sermon highlight video clips for Instagram mainly, but also for Facebook. And so I wanted to take the opportunity to show you guys how to make something like that. Let me actually play a little bit for you so that you guys can kind of see what we're going to be creating. Check it out.
But even if he doesn't, we know he's able. We know he will, but guess what? Even if he doesn't, we are still going to serve him. I need at least 3 people that say, if God heals me, I'll serve him. But if he doesn't heal me, I'll still serve him. If God opens the door, I'll serve him. And if he closes the door, I will still serve him. If God provides for me, I will serve him. But if he takes away, I will still serve him. If God is able to do what I'm asking him to do and he does it, I will serve him. But even if he doesn't, I will still serve my God.
All right, so now that you've seen a little bit of what we're gonna be creating, let's dive right into it. So today we're gonna be using Final Cut Pro X, so let's head right over here into Final Cut Pro X. As you guys see, I have a file already open. I kind of pre-did this a little bit before we started just to save a little bit of time, but what you're gonna do is you're gonna wanna go File, New Project, and when you have that open, you can title it whatever. I title it Sermon Highlight Clip. And then in video, here's where you want to change stuff. So you want to go and make sure that you hit custom, and you want to do 1080 by 1920. What this is going to ensure is that basically your clip is, instead of being long-wise HD, it's going to be taller. So it's going to be taller than it is long, which is what we want for Instagram and Facebook. And then just adjust your frame rate according to whatever you recorded. I think we record in 60p, so just make sure that you adjust that according to whatever you recorded your clip in, and then click OK. So I'm not going to click OK because I already have it here. So when you first open it, it'll be blank. What you want to do is also import the video that you're going to be editing and turning into this clip. So I've already dragged it into this event, is what Final Cut calls them. So I already dragged in the clip, and it shows a little bit of the service, whatnot. Okay, so I'm just gonna use the portion that I want for my video clip. Now, this is important. You wanna make sure that they stay maybe between like 30 seconds to like 2 minutes at the most. I think anything over 2 minutes, people aren't really gonna watch. I mean, they might, but what you want with these clips, the whole purpose of them is to grab people's attention. So people's attention, especially on social media, is very short. So keep it simple, 30 seconds to maybe max 2 minutes if it was a really good word that you want to share and chop up. I would recommend just stay in that zone. So today, I believe the total is gonna be 38. Right there, 38 seconds. It'll actually end up being a little bit less. But I already went through and cut up what I wanted, but I left this tail just so that you guys could kind of see the cutting process. So basically, I go through and I play, whatever it is that I want. I click it and I'm like, okay, perfect. This is where I want it to end. Then I go and select I click B, which selects the blade tool, and I cut wherever it is that I want to cut. Now, if you want to use, different sections of your, the same long clip and turn them into many clips or whatever, what you can do is, I'm going to click A to select the arrow again, is go through and let's say I want from here till here, right, which is what I have selected. For me to know and come back later, or if I go to the bathroom and come back, how do I know where I'm supposed to cut? You can leave a marker. Markers are created by, let's say I'm going to add one just right here. You select the clip that you want to add the marker to, and then you click M. So once you click M, it adds that little marker there, and it just reminds you that that's where you left off, or that's where you want to do whatever, cut or add a music, whatever you want to do. So I'm gonna right click on this, delete it because I don't need it. I already pre-selected the marker here, so I know this is where I want to end. Click B to select blade, and then click on the clip. So now it's split it, then I highlight the clip and delete. So now I'm left with 38 seconds of the clip that I want to use. So the next part of this process would be to go through and chop up, if you need to chop anything out, if you need to edit anything, this is the part where you want to do that. Another thing is that I did want to mention, because I think it might be self-explanatory, or it might be common sense, but I know there's people at different ranges of media and experience, and so I do want to share a couple things that will make your product or your end result just so much better and with the best quality possible. Number one is you want to make sure, obviously, that you have video, right? Obviously, you want to make sure that you have video to work with and to edit. Now, what I would recommend is that if you have a system like we do here at this church that streams online, what I do is I use the clips that are coming off of that system. So for example, I have 3 or 4 cameras in the sanctuary. They're all routed into a Blackmagic mixer in a completely different room outside of the sanctuary, where they, actively on Sundays mix the video that's being streamed online. So I take that video that was supposed to be streamed, we also record it locally. So it gets streamed, but it also gets recorded locally. So I take that video, and that's what I'm working with. So number one is you want video. Number two is you want audio. Now, in my case, because we have this system set up, I have 32 channels in-house that get sent, to the back in the booth, and someone's mixing that in our house mixer, right? So that mixes for the sanctuary, for the auditorium. But I have a splitter that takes those same 32 channels, clean, without any effects, nothing, just a replica of the same 32, and we send them digitally to our media room as well, where there's another mixer that is just mixing for online. So that's the audio that I'm using, because sometimes if you mix for house, it sounds good in the house, it sounds good on your PA system, but it doesn't mean it's gonna sound good online. And so, or on a phone or on a computer, right? Because that mix was just for in-house. But we have a separate mix here that's just mixed for online. So I'm pretty sure that it's gonna work. I know that, from experience and after tweaking it, that it's gonna work. Now, if you don't have that set up, okay, it's okay. I understand. I've been there. Our church was there before. No worries. I totally understand. What I would recommend is, number one, for the video, I would set up a tripod, set up a camera, and have somebody there on the camera and make sure that they're following you, okay? Because what you don't want to do is set up a camera that's just far away, that grabs the full stage, and then, when you zoom in digitally in post, it kind of looks blurry. I would prefer that you have a camera set up in place with, the right focus that's grabbing, from just a little bit over your head to like just below your belt, so that it's really focused on you. That's important. After you have that, after you've, have your camera and you're good on the video part, you want to take care of the audio as well. Worst case scenario, worst case is you put a Rode mic on top of your camera and you use that to record the audio. Now that's not ideal, because it's just gonna be basically picking up the audio of the room, and so there might be echo, it just won't sound crisp. The next step above from that would be to hook up some sort of device that can grab audio, whether that's your computer or whether that's a recorder that grabs audio from your house mixer, because at least you can grab somewhat of clean audio, right? Again, it might be mixed to your house, but some mixers actually let you, select different, basically like a separate bus or a separate channel that is, the same mic that you're hearing in house, but it's clean without any effects. And if your mixer does that, then awesome. Just make sure that you grab clean audio, okay, from the mixer. And the best case solution would be, like the setup that we have here, is a completely separate mix, right, of the same channel, but a completely separate mix just for online. So that's just something that I wanted to toss out there. I know it's a lot of information, but I think it's important that you think of all that recording process so that when you're editing in post, you have something clean that you can work with, all right? So now I'm gonna go in here and I'm gonna chop up anything that I need to chop up. This is just a raw 38 seconds of a clip that I liked of my sermon, and so I'm gonna use this clip to go ahead and work with it. I'm gonna chop it up, and then we'll come right back after it's chopped up, all right? All right, so I finished cutting up the clip. Now, what's funny is that the only really place I needed to cut was like one little section out, but it's okay. Basically, what you want to do is you want to go in and make any cuts that you need to make. If it's a lot of cuts, you know, with empty spaces or with a lot of ums that you said or whatnot, go ahead and make as many cuts as you want at this point, okay? So obviously, when you imported the clip, one of the things that you'll notice is that on the top and at the bottom, there's black space, right? But don't worry, we're gonna take care of that. Just for now, edit the clip without doing anything else. Just get the cuts that you need to get. Okay, so once the cuts are made, all right, and you have this clip, the next thing that you want to do is take all your clips, whether it's, you know, in my case it's 2, but maybe you have, you know, 10 or 30 or whatever, all the cuts, all the clips, and you're gonna right click and do new compound clip. Okay, this is important. So click new compound clip, and then we'll just call it new NC for new compound. I'll click OK. So now what it does is it basically takes all the cuts that you made and puts them into one clip. So that way, anything that we do to it at this point, it treats it as one single clip, and you don't have to go in and do all the adjustments individually, you know, per clip, right? So okay, now we have the entire clip that I want. The next thing, what I would do is right click and click detach audio. Because the point of this is if you do any sort of edits at this point, you know, you just want to affect the video, and you can have the audio separate so that you can mess with the audio completely separately. For me, it works because if I, for whatever reason, you know, later want to do any other cuts or whatever outside of this, I know that the video is done, I know the audio is done, and so I can adjust and work on them separately. So I have the video here, everything looks good. I have the audio here, everything's great. Obviously, this isn't what I want to submit. I want to do something great. I want to do something that looks a lot better. So I've created a little template that you guys can use. And I'm going to open up here, Sermon Hive Files, and it's this little template right here. Now, I'm going to be including this, the link to this down below in the description. You can go on our website at churchcombos.com, and you are able to purchase this template. Now, it's not just this file. This is one of the files that will be in that you know, folder that you will be able to download. The other files are individual files that you can use that will basically help you skip a lot of the hard work that I had to go through at the beginning when I was, you know, like editing everything, like figuring out the right sizing for the thumbnail, figuring out all of this stuff. It took me forever, but I finally have it down. I finally have a system that works, and so I want to offer that to you. It's only $5, right? So it's super cheap, only $5. Just go on there. It really isn't about making money. It's just I spend a lot of time on this, and I want you to enjoy it. I want to be able to offer you guys the best quality possible. So you guys will be able to get this down below in the description. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this template, drag it underneath my main video. Okay, that's important. You got to make sure it's underneath, because if it's underneath, then you can see your clip of the sermon on top, and you want to see the other one on the bottom, which right now is taking up the majority of the screen. So what I have here is basically areas, safe areas that you can use so that you know exactly where your video is supposed to be. So for example, I'm going to click on my sermon, and I'm gonna start messing with it. So I'm gonna zoom in, move it to the side. Let me see, let's bring this down. I kind of want to center it as much as possible, and then start zooming again. That to me looks pretty good. Okay, so now I've covered the area that is the first layer. I think let me see what it's actually called. So right click V and click over here. It's first visible layer. So this area right here, first visible layer, basically is, the reason I titled it that is because it's the first thing that when you click on the video on Instagram, it's the first thing that you're gonna see. You don't see the full, you know, top to bottom. You actually just see a section of it. And so that is the section that you're gonna see. So I have the clip in there now. Now, if you see, I have a thing also called header area. Now, this is completely optional. You don't have to do this, but what I have found is that I really like the look of this. It's just a different style that I'm trying out. And so this will also be included in the folder that you get, but I've basically made a header for my series. Every series that I preach right now, we finished a series called All In, and that's the clip from from that series. I'm using these headers that you know, kind of have the title of the series, so that people know when they're on Instagram on the feed, they know what clip is from what series. It's just something I'm doing right now. It might change in the future, but for now, I'm just going to show you guys my process. So I drag in the clip, I put it on top of the video, and as you see, for me, it's already formatted because when I made that, that header, I made it in a template that was also 1080 by 1920 and just centered it. Everything was already, ready to go so that I could drag it, skip time, and it's ready to go. So in your case, you guys could do that as well. You guys can download it, edit over it, so make it your own, and then bring it into this project like this. So basically, now what we have right here is we have the header, we have the actual video, and then we have the background still there. Now, for me, the background right now, again, you guys can do whatever you want. You can add a different background, you can add, whatever your heart desires. What I've been doing recently is I've been taking the same video, so this video that you're seeing here, and just making it really big, right? So expanding it in the background and dropping its opacity so it almost just looks like a shadow or a reflection of the video that we're watching. To me, it's aesthetically pleasing. I like what it looks like. But again, you can add, a color, you can add your own background, whatever you want to do at this point, okay? That's what you want to do there. So I'm going to show you guys what I do in just a little bit, but first I want to get into the clip and just do a couple edits. So at this point, what I would do is I would open up the corrections tab right here, and I would start adjusting colors. So show video scopes, click here and go RGB parade. So I want to make sure that all my colors are good. I think in the middle I just boost up the blues just a little bit. Let me turn it off and on. Maybe 4, I think that's good. And also in the highs, maybe like 2. That should be good. Yeah, I like that. Okay, awesome. So it was just a slight correction I needed to make. And then I click here and select Luma to see the darks. So the darks can be a little darker. I don't want to crush them too much, just a little bit. So let's go 7. Highlights look good to me. And then increase the mids just a little bit. So right now, that's the correction that I made. If I turn it on and off, you see the difference. It just looks a little richer, a little fuller. And one extra step that I've been doing recently is I have a plugin called Color Finale. You don't have to use this. If you don't have it, it's all good. This isn't necessary. I just kind of like what this looks like. So it opens up this little tab. I click on, let me actually delete this. I click on the LUT presets and I use CineStyle S-Curve and drop the opacity down to I'd say 19 or so, something like that. Basically, let me show you. Turn it off, turn it on. It makes it a little bit richer. Just little things that that I like to add. But again, this part specific, you guys don't have to do. It's completely up to you how you guys want to edit the colors and edit the look. So right now, I'm satisfied. For the sake of time, I'm satisfied with how it looks. Let me close out of this. So turn off show video scope. So this is what we're left with. So at this point, what I do is I do Command C to copy, go to the end, Command V, so I just pasted it. So now we have 2 of the same compound clip, right? Now I take it and I put it underneath. At this point, I can get rid of my template, so I delete the template, and I click on this, and I basically put everything back at 0 and 100 so that it's at the starting point. So it's behind behind my clip, everything's at 0, everything's at 100, it's at the starting point. What I do is I take the scale and I start to scale it up. So I personally don't like to see my face on the back one. I think it's a little too distracting. So I blow it up as, that's great. That's a beautiful picture of me. So I blow it up as much as possible. And let's go, like that. Let's drag it down. I kind of just have it so that you can kind of see the top of my head a little bit, but I don't want to see my face. And then I drop the opacity down to wherever, let's see, I would probably do it at 11, let's try 11. Yeah, I think 11 is good. So if you can see, if I scroll right here, I can still see my face. So I know that I can drag this down a little bit more because I don't want to see my face. And I can even, make it bigger and drag this down like that. So let me just scroll through. Good. So I don't see my face on the back video anymore. So the reason I do it is because I don't want it to be distracting. I kind of just want it to be there for aesthetic purposes. And so then I take this, go all the way here, and and I'm pretty satisfied with how that looks. That looks pretty good to me. Okay, so at this point, right, I've finished, the video clip. I like what it looks like. I have the header, I have the background. You can do any final adjustments at this point, but here I'm pretty satisfied with the video portion of it itself. Okay, so the next thing that I would do is I would add music. Now, I don't have the exact file. I couldn't find the exact file that I was using when I was editing this sermon series. That's why I don't have it with me right now. But you guys could add whatever song. Just make sure it's copyright free because you don't want to get stricken on or struck on Instagram or Facebook. Make sure that it's copyright free music, and basically you drag it underneath this clip. Okay, so you drag it underneath this clip. Now, even though I don't have the music, I want to show you the process that I do with the music. So I'm just gonna duplicate this. So pretend this bottom one is the music, file, right? So with that selected, I would go back over here to the settings, and I would click equalization. So click EQ, open up the EQ graph, and here's what I do. Okay, so that my goal is that the music serves as background music but does not overpower my voice. So my goal here is I would start at 512 and I would bring it down just a little bit, and then I'd take 1K, bring that down just a little bit more, then 2K is what I really want to bring down, then 4K around the same as 1, and 8 as the same as 512. So basically what you're doing is you're scooping out this area, which is where the human voice kind of speaks in, right? So when you speak, that's kind of the frequency. In that frequency those frequencies is where your human voice, speaks and what you hear, where it projects, right? So what I do with the music clip is I drag it down, I make this little scoop, and then on the other one, on the clip of my voice, if it's not already edited, because the one that I'm grabbing from my mixer, I know it's already processed, it has an EQ on it, it's compressed, so it's good. But if it's not, what I would do is I would take the audio file first, and I would drag it into like Logic or something like that, and I would edit it there and then bring it back into this software so that you have a clean audio that's edited, that's compressed, that's EQ'd, and I would boost it just a little bit between 1 and 2K. So basically the effect that's happening is the music is dipped, but your voice is a little bit raised, and so when you hear it back, it's not competing with one another, right? And obviously it depends on the song, it depends on a lot of factors, but that's kind of the process that I do, and it's worked out great for me. So okay, at this point, I'm done. At this point, I love what this looks like. I would go File, Share, Master File, and here it's gonna process. Okay, so you title it wherever you want to title it. Then I go to Settings, and here's my settings. So I do video, audio and video. And then you do H.264. This is best for YouTube, best for Instagram, best for all of that, right? H.264. Open with, I leave it as QuickTime. Pretty much everything I leave the same. Mine kind of comes up like this because that's always what I use. But if it doesn't come up for you, these are the settings that I recommend for you to use. You don't have to, you can use whatever you want, but these are the settings that I recommend. Now, as I said just a couple seconds ago, if you want to take the audio from your video and export it and work on it somewhere else and then bring it back, one way that you can do that is you can go to this export and do audio only. And if you do that, it will only export the audio. Then you can work on the audio file, bring it back in, and when you're ready, come back, format, and video and audio, right? So that's one way that you could export audio out and kind of separate it from your video. So at this point, I would click next and it would process. Once it's done processing, I would save it wherever I want. And my process is I airdrop it to my phone. And once it's in my phone, I go to Instagram and then I upload it from there. That's pretty much the process that I've been doing, what's worked for me. And it has become a lot easier than it was before because of the template that I have, because of the file templates that I have. It just helps so much. So that's why I wanted to make this video, for any creative that's out there that's making videos for their pastor or maybe for themselves of them preaching. And I wanted to share some of these tools, and I want to make available to you the files and the template that I created so that it could bless you, it could make your life a lot easier the way that it's made it for me. So that's how I create sermon highlight video clips for Instagram and Facebook. If you guys have any questions, feel free to leave a comment down below. I am actually in the process of creating a Discord for this channel because I want to be able to talk to you guys. I get so many, from my previous videos, so many comments that sometimes I miss them because I'm busy and stuff. But if I have it on Discord, if we could create a Discord community, I would be able to chat with you guys one-on-one, maybe do promos on there for other, files and stuff that I could share with you guys. I want to really create a community of creatives, of church creatives, that are in the same boat, that are creating for the kingdom of God. That is my goal with this channel. That is my goal, even in ministry now as a lead pastor, is to connect with as many creatives and people that are kingdom minded as well. So I hope this video was a blessing to you guys. I hope that you guys were able to take bits and pieces and apply it into your workflow. Again, if you have any questions, drop them down below. Make sure to check out churchcombos.com. Make sure to like this video and to subscribe if you haven't already. As always, my name is Abraham, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.